Everything is getting watered in. I am beyond filthy. But I'm a little more dangerous now because I have figured out how to dig holes very well and very fast. Be careful out there. Oh, my sense of humor is so freaking dark. This is what we got so far. My husband is looking at me like I'm crazy. Behind me, I want that to be all herbs and flowers that can be used in teas, lotions, anything that can be used on the body or in the body. I want over on that side. Behind the camera is a whole lot of roots. Well, not directly behind the camera. I'm going to spin you around. So if you don't like the spinny thing, close your eyes for a second. This area, we is on a hill. This area, you see the big tree right there that got cut down? Well, all of its roots spread to about right here. So I'm going to try to plant shallow plants there, as well as we are putting in a wildflower garden. So I bought a couple of different seeds packets from Eden Brothers that are a wildflower garden seed mix, and they're going down there. I'm thinking I want to put some of the sage bushes over here because their roots are not that deep. And they need full sun. So the difference between the two areas is right here gets, I know it's in shade right now, but it gets 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. The other side gets a little bit less, but most herbs like a little less sunlight so they don't bolt as quickly. So yeah, but the walkway is going to be all bulbs. So I also need deer-resistant things to protect my walkway so the deer do not just walk up it and munching on down on everything, because they will. Yes, deer walk through my front yard on a consistent basis. My dogs have a heyday. So far, what I have in are hydrangeas from the backyard and some amaryllis belladonna, better known as naked ladies. Other than the hydrangeas and the naked ladies, I have some bulbs planted, some bearded dragon. Why do I call it a bearded dragon? It's a bearded orchid. I would have a bearded dragon, but my dogs and cats would go bananas. I have bearded orchids, and I have tulips and irises and lilies. And I don't know which is which because they are all in bulb form right now. So there's that. So I need to get the gaillardia in, which loves sunlight. Not really an edible flower. It's just really pretty, and I love that it's goblin gaillardia. The sage and the marigolds, because they will spread, but they love sunlight. So since marigolds will spread, I want to put them somewhere that it's going to be hard to get things to grow, because digging will be hard, and maybe they will spread on their own and be pretty. But they're also deer resistant, so the other part of me wants to put them at the very front to keep the deer away from all of my bulbs, because I think they already dug one up and ate it. Pretty sure it was them, because the dogs can't get that far up into the yard. It's nice and shady up here. Let's get to digging, y'all. A good thing we started before the wind kicked up. So in a different video, I was clearing out the back garden. I'm going to probably do that one bed at a time because that was intense. And I'm taking out the perennial herbs and I am putting them up here. Most of these are culinary and medicinal herbs, and that's what I want this side to be. And why start a whole bunch of new ones from seed when I have a ton in the back that I could just and put down? So your perennials are pretty dang sturdy. These plants have been around long before us humans have, and they can survive pretty much anything that you throw at them. One thing I learned about hollyhocks, I love me some hollyhocks. They're gorgeous, they're biennial, but they push out shoots continuously. So I'm thinking next year I'm still going to have hollyhock flowers. So in my mind, it's really only a biennial, which I'll prove next year if it goes away. I think it's going to go the first time you plant it. Because if it shoots out the shoots continuously, then every year you would assume it would have flowers and not just be biennial. No, the hollyhocks are not medicinal in any way that I know of, which I'll research, but I highly doubt they are. But they're really freaking pretty. And these ones are black hollyhocks, so they will just set off everything else. I also have some sedum I'm putting up here and eupatorium. Eupatorium is also known as bone set. I did get those plugs from Farmer Bailey's. They were going to go in the back, but I think the colors that they are and the fact that they're medicinal, I want them up here to set off all of the color we're going to have up here. And so if everybody could pray with me to whatever in the universe that you pray to, that this works. And I don't have a big weedy mud patch come spring. That would be fabulous. Let's hit the speed through and hope I don't break any bones. I should probably not have said that out loud. Hope this goes smoothly as I dig big, deep holes into the dirt. We are, woo, I'm gonna fall on my face. Back up at the front yard. We went to the back. We dug up all the feverfew. I'm never getting rid of the feverfew. I wanted to bring the oregano up here, but that crap's not coming out of the ground. So I'll plant some new oregano up here. And yes, I know a lot of this stuff spreads. That's the point, is that this is going to be a mix between an apothecary garden, a cooking garden, and a cottage garden, and a wildflower garden. I am mixing all the things together, and that is how it's going. We're going to do the feverfew right here because it will grow down and spread, and obviously nothing is sticking in this hill, in this small hill right here. They don't want to do nothing. So We're going to dig a whole bunch of really big holes again and shove the feverfew into the ground. It's still pretty wet for watering yesterday. And I'm hoping this guy comes back. He had quite a bit of shocks. So we'll see if we have to pull him out come the spring. He does have little babies on him. So he should be fine for next year. Just everything will look a little sad because it is all going to go through transplant shock. We should be getting some rain soon as well as some warm weather, so that will help root everything in. And then by the time the first killing frost comes, the roots will be settled in, and hopefully that will make them survive all the way through the winter. We don't have a ton of super, super cold weather, and I'm talking like below freezing cold weather. I think last year we only had like a week where it was so cold I didn't even let the chickens out of the coop. I kept it heated and just kept them inside for about a week because it was just too cold to even have their door open or their windows open or anything like that. And we kept hot water in there that kept them a bit warmer. And then as it cooled, they could drink it. We even put their food in there. Like, we had one bad week. So hopefully that will continue again because we are further south than we've previously were. All right, I'm going to stop rambling and get to digging some holes because I also need to shower because I have plans tonight and I must not look like a hot mess. So let's get this on speed through and dig some friggin' holes. All right, are we going? Okay. Still in the front yard. Oh, camera's all jacked up. All right, in my hand, I have 2 calendula plants. The goal is get them in the ground, have them flower, and drop seed. I'm going to actually use these as markers to tell me where I am at on the wildflower seed, because I'm also using this marigold over here to do the same thing. Let's see if I can point you all to the marigold. I'm facing directly into the sun. I think she's right over there. Right there. Boop. And up to the really dark line is where I have already planted seeds. So I want to put these 2 in there because they're going to drop seed and add more seed. And again, one of my goals is a majority of things in this front yard are going to be medicinal. Not only are they going to be pretty, but they're going to be useful. And we will not have to mow. I will hope that every single inch of this front yard is an herb, a flower, a perennial, something that drops seed and grows more. That's the goal. Be lush and beautiful and not much to take care of. So I'm going to go drill some holes in the ground, pop in the calendula real quick, and then we will turn around and I will show you what we're stealing from the cut flower garden to put up here to make some pretty. Now that those bad boys are in, let's talk about what we got over here. Up here, what we have are black hollyhocks and bridal peonies. So they're white peonies and black hollyhocks. What we are putting in are 10 eupatorium, which is little Joe Pie weed, I believe. And sedum autumn fire. So both of these can actually be used medicinally and they're gorgeous. This is going to be a purplish color and this is going to literally be like an autumn fire, like you would see in the trees if the camera were pointed out. I'm going to steal out of these 10 of each plant and pop them up along this front row with these other really pretty flowers. And yeah, and they can be used for medicinal purposes. The problem is that this dirt is very, very, very compacted. So I need 20 holes. So we're going to get started on 20 friggin' holes. All right, we're going to make sure everything's getting hit that needs to get hit by the water. Okay. So it's getting hit like it needs to get hit. I did leave the trays out there because they do need to get some water in them. I think what I'm actually going to do, just not today, because I need to bathe and get ready for things. And I need to seed the rest of the front yard. Once I get the seedlings in over here where there are still branches and crap coming out of the ground, which I cannot use the drill on, I can't use a tiller. Like, we can't even get the big stump ground out because it's just too dangerous. Once I get those seeds in and down and covered, I'm going to continue the eupatorium and the sedum around this edge, just to make it look nice and orderly for the most part. And that may use up the rest of it. I highly doubt it. There's a whole bunch of it. So whatever isn't used up here will be put back into the flower garden. And this will be like my emergency stash of stuff if anything goes wrong in the big cut flower garden this year. There's a ton of emergency flowers up here that can also be used as cut flowers. So there's that. Yes, I have plan A and I have backups to my backups to my backups to my backups. That's what I'm good at. All right, we're going to let that get watered. And once that's done, I'm going to take a freaking shower so I can start cooking to prep for all the things that are happening this weekend. And I will see you in what seems like a blink of an eye to y'all, because I'm going to turn off the camera and then turn it back on when I plant some more. This is a very long process. And I know that this is going to probably be a fairly long video. And I will go through step by step on how I came to this decision as well. But I'm getting super stoked that there are actually plants up here right now, because my neighbors will hopefully stop looking at me like I have lost my bloody mind. All right, let's go get cleaned up.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come hang out with me. I can't wait to show you the final reveal on this yard, hopefully coming up in the next few weeks. Thank you again. Bye.